What a wild few days it's been, right guys? From the Isak drama to now going all in for Ekitike, this transfer window honestly feels like it was made for us fans. The club is spoiling us, no doubt about it. Now look, we were clear in our last video, we preferred Isak over Hugo. That was our honest take. But we also made it clear that Ekitike is no slouch. In fact, he's seen as one of the most exciting young strikers out there in the number 9 role. We actually did a video on him a while back, but today we're diving even deeper. We'll break down more of his strengths, talk about where he still needs to improve, and even make the case that his potential ceiling could be higher than Isak's. Yep, you heard that right. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get straight into it. First off, let's talk about what Ekitike brings to the table. This is a striker who can do a bit of everything. He's tall and can play with his back to goal, but just like Isak, he's also surprisingly quick and loves to run in behind. That dual ability to be a target man and a runner makes him unpredictable to defenders. We should also highlight the Frenchman's great timing of runs. He knows when to initiate his runs to attack the available space and give himself the best possible conditions to contest long balls. Another area that stands out is Ekitike's technical ability. His first touch is excellent, allowing him to cushion difficult passes and bring others into play. At Frankfurt, he often drifted into the channels or checked back to receive the ball, then played quick 1-2s or slipped clever through passes. In fact, his 8 assists last season underscore that creative streak. It's pretty rare to find a striker who's also capable of creating. Another big plus is his dribbling ability. Ekitike isn't just a static big man up top. He likes to run at defenders and has the agility to beat them off the dribble. His combination of height and pace is also rare. For a Liverpool side that values attackers who can create something out of nothing, this is a huge asset. In short, the upside with Ekitike is immense. We're looking at a youngster who can score, create, dribble, and play in a fluid system. At 23, he's still growing into his prime years. If he polishes the rough edges, he could become the total package up front. So how would Ekitike fit into Arne Slot's Liverpool? Quite nicely, it turns out. Slot's system is all about fluidity, movement, and smart pressing, and Ekitike checks a lot of those boxes. Last season under Slot, Liverpool often played with interchanging forwards, almost a rotating front three that confused defenders. The wingers kept the width and loved to cut inside, while the striker more often than not dropped deep or drifted wide to combine. Slot wants a number 9 who can both lead the line and link play, rather than just lurk in the box. This is where Ekitike could shine. He's shown he's comfortable moving into wider areas or dropping into midfield to receive the ball. Just like Isak, Ekitike is always looking to exploit space, whether that's pulling out to the channels or making a run in behind. That versatility is key. It means Liverpool wouldn't lose fluidity by having a static target man. Importantly, Ekitike also brings something for the transition game. Slot's Liverpool has been about quick forward thrusts. When possession is won, we go forward fast, often through long balls. Ekitike's speed on the break, timing of runs, and willingness to carry the ball at defenders will add to that. He can be an outlet for counter-attacks, sprinting into space if Liverpool break from a defensive shape. And when the team is in sustained possession, Ekitike's comfort in tight spaces means he can combine around the box with midfielders making runs. Ekitike's ability to lay the ball off or flick it around the corner for an on-rushing midfielder could become a real feature at Anfield. One more tactical wrinkle. We all know Fag Arne Slot has a track record of improving young strikers by using them in the right way. Just look at Santiago Jimenez at Feyenoord. Slot transformed Jimenez from a raw prospect into a goal machine, scoring 28 goals in his first season under the Dutchman. Slot helped polish Jimenez's link-up play and movement, making him far more effective. You can bet Slot sees a similar project in Ekitike. He'll know how to use Ekitike's strengths and improve his weaknesses, which we'll address in a second. Now, Ekitike's story hasn't been all smooth sailing, but that's part of why his trajectory is so intriguing. A couple of years ago, he was a hot prospect at Stade Reims, then earned a dream move to PSG. And let's be honest, life at PSG was tough for him. He was a teenager thrown into a star-studded squad with Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, and naturally, game time was scarce. Frustrations crept in. In fact, a former PSG player publicly questioned Ekitike's attitude in training back then, saying he appeared a bit immature and wasn't showing the right focus. Harsh words, but it highlighted that Hugo was still a kid learning what it takes at the elite level. In fact, people say that PSG sold him because he slapped Mbappe's little brother when travelling with the France's youth national side. You know, the kid has got some jokes too. Fast forward to now, and the growth is evident. After that challenging spell in Paris, Ekitike made a smart decision by moving to Eintracht Frankfurt in 2024 to reboot his career. And boy, did he take that chance. Ekitike's mental toughness also got a boost in Germany. He had some ups and downs in Germany. Frankfurt had a rollercoaster season with big wins and tough losses. Notably, they fell to Spurs in a Europa League quarter-final, despite Ekitike scoring in that run. He said that defeat hurt him deeply and that he copes by immediately analysing how to improve. He watches his games back, critiques himself, and looks at what he could have done better. That level of self-criticism and willingness to learn from mistakes is exactly what you want in a developing player. Now, no player is perfect at 23, and Ekitike does have some weaknesses to iron out, which actually is part of why his ceiling is so high. One area to note is his consistency in finishing. While he scored plenty of goals last year, at times his finishing can be a bit hit or miss. Earlier in his career, he tended to snatch at chances or choose the wrong option, like taking low percentage shots from silly angles. He's improved a lot in shot selection, but he still has games where he could be more clinical. For example, he slightly underperformed his expected goals in the past, suggesting he left a few goals on the table. The flip side is that he's getting into great positions regularly, which is a good sign for a striker. Slot and the staff will work on refining his composure in front of goal, making sure he finds that balance between power and placement when finishing. Another aspect is his aerial game. For a 6'3" forward, you'd expect Ekitike to be an absolute menace in the air, but he's not quite there yet. He wins headers thanks to his height and decent leap, but he's not dominant in aerial duels. At Frankfurt, he scored a couple of headers, but you get the sense he could do more given his frame. Part of it is timing and positioning. He sometimes mistimes his jumps or doesn't attack crosses as aggressively as, say, a prime Diego Costa would. Now, another thing to monitor rather than it being a weakness is his physicality. Ekitike has a wiry build. He's definitely stronger now than he was at 19, and he does use his body well to shield the ball. But against Premier League centre-backs, he will occasionally struggle in shoulder-to-shoulder duels. We saw a glimpse of that even in the Bundesliga. If a big defender, like say a Nico Schlotterbeck, got a body on him, Ekitike could be knocked off balance. He's not fragile by any means, but continuing to build his strength will help him hold his ground. This lack of strength, let's say, is the reason why you see Ekitike not getting into duels sometimes. The flip side is he shouldn't add too much bulk to the point it slows him down. It's a fine balance. Think of Thierry Henry early in his Arsenal days, lanky, but gradually became more robust without losing speed. That's the kind of physical development curve Ekitike could emulate. Lastly, we have to mention the elephant in the room: lack of Premier League experience. Isak has already proven he can handle English football's pace and physicality, whereas Ekitike would be a newcomer. There is always a risk with that. Some players take time to adjust or don't adjust at all. Liverpool will need to manage expectations and give Ekitike time if he arrives. He might not bang in 20 goals in his first Premier League season, and that's totally fine. Given Ekitike's age and profile, the coaching staff would likely ease him in, perhaps rotating him with existing forwards initially. The good news is, as mentioned, he's adapted to a new league before, and he has that determination to succeed. Plus, coming into a team that's flying high because he won't be shouldering all the pressure from day one.
Let's finish up by addressing the big comparison: Hugo Ekitike against Alexander Isak. Age and development are a huge factor. Ekitike is about 3 years younger than Isak. That might not sound like much, but at this stage of a player's career, it can be significant. Isak is likely entering his prime, and we have a good sense of the player he is. Ekitike, on the other hand, is still a bit of an unknown quantity in the best way possible. He's on a steep upward trajectory. Think about where Isak was at 23. He was doing well at Real Sociedad, but he hadn't become a Premier League star yet. Ekitike at 23 has just exploded onto the scene in Germany and could be about to do the same in England. With the right coaching, his progress curve could be even sharper than Isak's was. In 2 or 3 years, Ekitike might reach a level that exceeds where Isak is now. That's the gamble and the potential reward. Their skill sets are similar in some ways. Both are tall, fast, technically gifted strikers who can play in a fluid front line, but Ekitike might have a higher creative ceiling. Isak is an adept dribbler and can certainly link play, but Ekitike has shown flashes of almost playmaker-like vision that hint he could develop into a forward who not only scores 20 a season, but also contributes 10 plus assists regularly. If Ekitike can translate that to the Premier League, Liverpool would have an extremely versatile striker. That kind of player is rare and incredibly valuable, and it's no coincidence Ekitike studies Benzema. He's aiming to be that complete forward. Let's also consider how each would evolve under Slot. Isak at 25 might refine his game further, but we probably won't see a radical transformation because he's close to fully developed. Ekitike under Slot could be moulded in a variety of ways. Slot might use him differently than any forward he's coached before because of that unique skill combo. For instance, Slot could at times deploy Ekitike almost like a second striker or an attacking midfielder in certain phases, leveraging his comfort dropping deep. We're talking about a player who could lead Liverpool's line for the next 8 to 10 years and continually get better during the first half of that span. That is a mouth-watering prospect for the club's future. None of this is to downplay Isak, he's superb. But Newcastle know that, which is why they slammed the door on any sale and set an enormous price tag on him. Liverpool, being smart, won't overspend unless they believe they're getting value. With Ekitike, £80 million or so is still a huge fee, but they'd be paying for what he could become as much as for what he is now. And what he could become might just be better than what Isak is now. There's also a subtle strategic victory in landing Ekitike. Remember, Newcastle wanted him too, and Ekitike actually turned down a move to Newcastle back in 2022. If Liverpool sign him, they not only get their man, but also keep a talented player away from a top 4 rival. It's a little bonus on top of the football. To sum it up, Hugo Ekitike has a high upside long-term play for Liverpool. He has the raw ingredients to be a star in Arne Slot's system. Yes, there are areas Ekitike must improve, and the Premier League will pose new challenges, but considering how far he's come in a short time and the mentality he's shown, you have to be excited about his trajectory. In a couple of years, we might be looking at Ekitike as one of those transformative signings that define Liverpool's next era. So what do you think? Is Hugo Ekitike worth the gamble for Liverpool? And could he outshine Alexander Isak in the long run? Will Slot's coaching turn him into the next great Anfield number 9? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.